Hello, friends. Welcome to the Confidence Zone. I'm your host, the confidence coach, Susan Axelrod. I have something very serious to speak with you about today. What are the words that you hear yourself saying when you come to consciousness about the words you're saying? This question is absolutely vital to your mental health, your mental wellness, and your emotional well being. If you repeatedly say things of a negative orientation, if you think about what you're saying and you say them over and over to yourself, completely unabated, repeating these things to yourself over and over, your ears hear it, but also your soul feels it and experiences it. I am living, breathing proof of this thesis. I had those negative limiting beliefs that you hear about. I had negative self talk that you hear about. I lived in self deprecation. And I always made jokes about the self deprecating things that I said about myself. Over a long journey to self love, loving myself more, I realized that I wanted to change the narrative and how to change the narrative, why it was important to change the narrative. In my relationships with people, I know the people who make these negative comments, these self deprecating comments, the critical comments, or the type of comments that don't serve you. Even if they're not all the way down on the bad side of the scale, they may be comments that don't serve you. I also know the people who have completely transformed their lives with positive self talk, with positive thoughts and ideas that they repeat repeatedly in their minds, and that their brain begins to wrap itself around, and that their soul actually can begin to feel. I want to ask you, what are the thoughts that you think? What are the thoughts that you have? Today, I was delighted to be a guest on the Jillian Whitney LinkedIn Live show. We had so much fun talking about confidence, and we spoke about this a little bit today. And the topic of loving ourselves more and self-love did come up in the beautiful engagement that we had in comments with some of the listeners and the viewers today. It made me think since then about this vitally important idea and thesis, and most of all, experience. When I lived in the negative headspace, when I lived in the place of telling myself that I can't, or especially the why not? Why not? Oh, that can't happen to me. Why can't I ever have this? When am I going to have my breakthroughs? All those different kinds of things. And then in later years, as I had what I call my spiritual enlightenment, my transformational journey that helped me break through the constant negative narrative in my mind. Look at me now. I just turned 60, and people often tell me, you look so good, or you look better than you ever have. Don't get me wrong, my life hasn't all been peaches and cream over the last couple of years, but I've learned the tools that I share in my confidence coaching, and this is one of them. What do you hear yourself saying constantly? Because this is what I say in the 4 agreements. One of the agreements is be impeccable with your word, not just for the other person, what you're saying to the other person, for the other person, about the other person. Be more impeccable with what you're saying, with your word. But the way I've extrapolated it is because your ears, yourself, your soul is also hearing the words that you're saying. So if you're constantly in the I can't do that, or that doesn't happen for me, it doesn't hurt to give a try, a real college try, in the other way of being. I can do this. I can be hired as a speaker. I can get higher paid clients. I can get the job I want. I am good enough to be heard or seen or contracted with by the exact right clients I want to speak to. I can have a successful, productive, lucrative business from my passion space inside my personal values system. I can do this. I want to do that. I am able to do that. This really is not fluff. For me, I feel like this is hard fact, scientific measure that you can actually analyze for yourself. If you think about all the negative thoughts that you've had, all the things that you haven't been able to do, or don't work out for you, or didn't happen for you, and how much you talk to yourself about that, maybe you want to just consider the idea of going in the other direction. What if you can? I have a tool that I created for myself. All my clients know this, but maybe you're watching me for the first time or hearing me for the first time and you haven't heard about it. And this is why I want to speak with you about this today. It's called What If Positive. As humans, as the humans that we are, so often we live in the what if negative space. What if this doesn't happen? What if it doesn't go well? What if it doesn't go right? What if I don't get that? What if I don't pass the test? What if I don't get hired by the client? What if negative? And I worked for many years through therapy, coaching, and a lot of self inner work to change that narrative to what I call what if positive. What if I can charge twice as much because my prices were only half of what they should be? What if I charge more and I still get hired by wonderful clients? What if I believe in the nature of my experience, my expertise, and I allow for the value, the high value that my intuition offers, and I charge what I'm worth, and people hire me and work with me and have fun working with me and then refer me? What if that happens? Sometimes it does take opening your mind to what? Imagine the possibilities. That's my tagline for my Confident Life coaching. I chose it because of my own trajectory, of my own career evolution, to imagine the possibilities for myself. I was the highest level professional in my career. I was devoted. I was dedicated. I was on point. I was one of the best. I began to move out of that career for various reasons, which is not the story of today. And as I assessed and analyzed what made me good in my primary career of more than 3 decades, I realized that underlying that primary work was the nature of my intuitive coaching, which is how I grew my business in such a relatively short time. I did that work for over 3 decades, 35, 36 years. I still do that work, of course, a little bit, but I grew faster in my second career because of the tools that I use that I share with you here in the Confidence Zone. I feel more confident. I come across more confident. I have more confident clients, and it all is a good working strategy. So again, what is it that you're constantly telling yourself? What are you constantly telling yourself? Maybe it's about your weight. Maybe it's about your bank account. Maybe it's about your business. Maybe it's about your relationship. Maybe it's about your skills. All of this material really applies across the mental and emotional spectrum. And then, yes, it also applies to business. What if you drop in to your intuition, allow your authentic voice to come forth, and knock it out of the park in your business? What if that happened? What do you need to do to believe that it's possible? That it's possible. What are these things that you're telling yourself? If you come to conscious awareness of your narrative, of the messaging, of the language, of the conversation that you're having every day in every way, what do you hear yourself saying? I can't do that because that can't happen to me because that will never work out for me. I am, in fact, talking a little bit now about affirmations, affirming the positive, affirming the possibility of what could be. So affirmations have in fact worked for me. I feel they are completely scientific. I have experimented and studied, analyzed, and experimented more for the last really more than 20 years, almost 25 years now, actually, on all of this. And I am here to say that you will feel more confident if you change the narrative of your conversation to a more positive outlook, to a more positive viewpoint. So today I walked into the DMV where I am to have a conversation to find out how do I do a couple of things here. And there was a young woman there sitting behind the thing, just, minding her own business. I'm minding my own business. But of course, I got into conversation with her today because I like people. And I just thanked her for what she was doing and how easy she made it for me by explaining it in simple ways that I could understand. Okay, I'm not an idiot, but I got a lot going on my mind right now. And I was grateful to her. She was surprised and stunned that I would thank her for that. It's so easy for her. But I explained, I got a lot going on right now. I have a lot on my mind. So the way you explained it and gave me the paperwork, you made it easy for me. And I'm grateful for that. Thank you. Of course, we got into a little bit of conversation about the nature of the work that I do. And she ended up thanking me. I guess she must be on a diet because she said, I really needed this conversation today. She said, what did she say? She said, oh, I did a weigh-in today on the silly diet that I'm doing. And I got bad news or some such thing, something like that. I said, well, first of all, it's not a silly diet. And secondly, good for you for tending to your physical health, your mental and emotional health depends on your good physical health. So there's nothing silly about a diet. And maybe you want to just think of it in a more generalized term that I'm committed and working on every day in every way, having a healthier body and also, therefore, a healthier self outlook. And she thanked me. That was it. It was very simple. It wasn't a very big deal, but it turned out to be good and nice for both of us. And you know what? That's good enough for me. Sometimes it's just about being good and nice. And that's good enough. We can be good and nice to other people. What if we have a more confident, good and nice orientation to ourselves? What if we say, I can do it. I'm going to rock it. I'm going to kill it. What if we say, I'm going to get that thing. I'm going to do that thing. I'm going to write the book. I'm going to do these things. What if we have a more positive self-narrative? The answer is you'll feel more confident, and that will lead to many other good things for yourself. Okay, I took it seriously today in the confidence zone because I'm serious about your confidence. All right, friends, that's it for today. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you tomorrow for Live at 5. Bye-bye.